another complexity in all of this you write about in the afterword of the book, about the narco traffickers that have moved into the river basin. They're not the loggers that we've spoken about anymore. They're growing cocoa for cocaine, and they're building airstrips. So tell me how this came to be.
Like you said, the loggers, our whole life on this river, when loggers come in, JJ and I would walk up to them and say, "Hey, what's up?" and sit down with them and have a beer or share a meal and talk to them and ask who their father was and if we know them, and then hire them. And they're friendly. And
they are, in a way, brothers, JJ. They're the same. Yeah. They come
from the same people. They're simple local people. They're not evil. They're just people who usually have a kid and a wife, and they're looking for work. And so they work with the chainsaw because it's what they know. And they work for, $30 a day, if that, in very challenging, harsh environments. And so when we see clearings, I would always go with the drone and fly it over clearings. We'd get some intel, and then we'd go bring that to the police. And the police, Jungle Keepers supports the police at this point because the Peruvian government has a hard time with resources trying to manage Amazonia. And there's, when you're 3 days from civilization, getting cops out there is not the easiest thing. So sometimes we'll lend boats or gasoline or logistical support. And there was a moment in March, several hours upriver from, home base. And I'm with JJ on the boat, and I fly the drone, and there's this big new clearing, and I flew the drone over, and we lower the drone. And a few times I've had people come out and wave at the drone or say, like, get away. And we're out in the middle of the river, just sort of idling, staying in one place. And I lower the drone, and I see these little huts. And we're saying, okay, this is a big clearing. I'm snapping images. These people are on the boat with us, these visitors who had flown in. And I have my local team. And all of a sudden, people come running out of the houses. And they run straight to their boats. And we're already above where their boat is. So home is in downriver direction. Mm-hmm. They get in their boats and start chasing us. And we start driving. And we're going at full speed. We have a 60 horsepower. They had a 40. And we're driving up we're just doing this chase now. And our guests, who are going to be potential funders, at one point the father looked at me and he goes, "Hey, this whole, running from the Pirates of the Caribbean thing," he's like, "it's getting scary. You're scaring us." He was like, can we, like, what are we doing? He goes, when are you going to put the drone down? And I'm flying the drone at full speed to keep up with the boat. And I just crash landed the drone on the side of the river near a big tree. I just said, "Fuck it, we'll get it later." Mm-hmm. And I was like, this happens all the time. They get mad. They chase us. It's no big deal. And I smiled at him, and JJ's smiling. He goes, "It's so bad." And he's smiling. And JJ looked at me, and the smile fell off him like a mask. And he looked at me and he was like, "This is not good." And we kept going upriver. And luckily there was a camp of police that we've worked with quite a bit. And I went to a friend of mine, and I remember we got off the boat. I shook his hand. He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Look downriver." And there's a boat tearing upriver towards us. And he did 3 things. He got the rest of the guys, they armed up. They got on the boat with guns. They put ski masks on. They got ready for combat. They told us to get down. He also said, "Hey, turn on the sat link, call for support back home." We turned our boat around. And as soon as the Narcos, which we didn't even realize that these were Narcos chasing us. We thought that we were looking at loggers. When they saw the guns and they saw us face them, they turned their boat around and they went back downriver. So we got escorted downriver. And I remember shaking his hand, my friend, and saying, "Thank you for saving us today." And telling the other guys they did a good job. I said, "Get back upriver. We'd been brought home safe. This is hours later." I said, "Good job. Thank you so much." And they went back upriver. And then that night, I'm sitting at the station that and I get a phone call from Stefan. And he goes, "Pick up the phone." And I go, "I can't. I'm in the middle of a conversation." He goes, "Pick up the phone." And my friend, who I had just shook his hand a few hours ago, they went back upriver. And as they were unloading their boat and washing off in the stream, the Narcos did a drive-by and shotgun straight to the chest, shot him in the chest. And so all of that enthusiasm, and we're protecting the biodiversity, and this is so great. There's people from around the world. It's like that scene in the movie where there's just a montage of success and hope and acres and winning. Gunshot. And I could still feel his hand in my hand. I just shook his hand. I said, no, you can't. You're not. I said, well, is he okay? And he said, is he okay? He said, he took a shotgun straight to the chest. And they're like, he's dead. So, okay. And so I had to go out to dinner and not show the guests anything and just smile and laugh and talk to them about, whatever. And keep that in, which felt very, very difficult to do. And so what happened, as you said, the threat level escalated and we didn't know it. Mm-hmm. The narcos had come in and started realizing that there's so much wilderness here that they can operate and there's no police. And then when we flew the drone, they got mad. So we realized this. We communicated with the police, and they said, "Oh yeah, these are narcos." Now we realize this is part of the serious drug mafia. And then I had gone back with the incident that you're referring to at the end of the book. I had gone back to New York again to speak to donors to try and get this work to continue. And you know how it works. We're at the station, and then you go to that little logging town, and then there's a road. And so our pickup truck had come in on the road, and JJ was supposed to come down, get in the truck, and drive back to the city. JJ was on the river and went, I forgot I was supposed to get more stuff at the city. He goes, I'll go tomorrow. He went back up and he sent the boat driver down and told our driver, Percy, who was waiting with the pickup truck, he said, JJ's not coming today. Go back and come back tomorrow. Percy starts driving down the road and he sees a tree across the road. And this is a single lane road through the jungle. There's nowhere else you can go. And men with guns come and stick the pistols in through the open windows, gun against his head. They pull him out and they go, where's JJ and the mierda gringo boladron? They said, where's that shithead gringo that flew the drone? And if either of us had been in the car that day, they would have killed us. And we know that because they took his wallet, they took his phone, our driver, Percy. They thank God they didn't hurt him, but they sent a message to us. They said, let him know. They said, we missed you this time, but we'll get you next time. They said, we're going to get you. And so when JJ called me and he was howling. He just had the, that adrenaline and that emotion of that it almost happened. And so that changed everything. And so since then we've been, it's not counting butterflies and taking ecological surveys. It's that there's a drug war being fought on our river. And now when these roads come in, we can't just go out and meet these people anymore and go talk to them because they are actively looking to shoot us. They know our names. And then as if all these other things weren't enough indication, the police intercepted a phone from someone they arrested. And on the phone in the WhatsApp chat, it said, if you see JJ or the gringo, anyone in our network, please kill them. You'll be rewarded. So we both have a hit out on us. And life on the river has changed at the moment. We can't, I can't just go out walking around and swimming and driving my boat. And it's like, you have to be looking over your shoulder at all times. And, you can get as trained as you want with a pistol and sleep with it under your pillow. But the way these people work, they'll catch you when you're least expecting it. They'll wait till you're at a cafe in town. They'll wait till your motor doesn't work on the side of the river. It'll just be a quick one and they'll go. And so that feeling on top of the weight of protecting the ecosystem and the animals and the race to tell people about it and do all this, it's like now we're actively being hunted when we're there. So,
and this is very directed at you and JJ.
Yeah.
So they really don't care about the others. They understand.
Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid? What's it been like living with a real fear of being murdered at any moment?
I wish I could say I handled it better than I've been handling it. Like, I wonder how people in war zones do it. I wonder how some of my soldier friends that I have immense respect for have did it when they were deployed, because for me, once this happened, it was, every phone call now, I think, did something happen to JJ?
Yeah.
Every time I go to sleep, my dreams are that I'm being shot. And it really threw me. It really, really affected me. When JJ called me, the way he was just shouting. I don't even remember what he was saying. He was just shouting, "They almost got us. They almost got us." He was so, you know, terrified and angry and so yeah, there was a day not that long ago that I was swimming in the river, and I was just in the river, right in front of the stairs at the station, and a boat came around the bend. And I remember thinking, do I run? Do I go underwater? Do I hide? What the hell do I do? I didn't have a gun near me. I didn't have the security people were up the stairs. It's like, you go, holy shit. And it's not the danger of, if I jump on an anaconda, it might kill me. Or if I climb this, I might fall. These are people who want to kill you. And on top of it, you have when you see what your friend looks like after 3 days of floating in a river, what a body looks like of a person you used to know, that's very viscerally terrifying, because there's the tragedy of that person lost his life, who was younger than I was. He was a kid. He was in his 20s. And then, yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard to do anything, because I mean, like right now, my hands are sweating. It affects me. And even in the daylight, if I can go, it's fine. This is part of the thing, so this is the adventure. People deal with this all over the world. You can talk yourself tough. And then in those quiet moments, that 4 a.m. thing, you wake up and you go, fuck, why am I sweating? Why did I just have those dreams? Why is my heart racing? It's like you just have, it sinks its way into your subconscious, and it's just not what we signed up for. It's like we wanted to just protect this beautiful place, and this is this whole new threat. We're not trained for this. We're not we're not police or military, and it's like we've now seen violence on a scale that we were very unprepared for. And so, I mean, just 2 days ago, I was, on my way to you, and my phone rang at 9:00 at night, and it was JJ, and it was like, my heart was jackhammering. I had to pull over, because I was going, what news now? Did we lose another bunch of acres? Is it a new road? Did somebody die? It just, it really scatters you.
And in some sense, it's a twist that you didn't ask for, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the fight you're fighting, which is protecting the rainforest. But because of it being pristine and quiet and away from civilization, it also becomes a place where you can have airstrips. It becomes lawless in a certain way because it's so far away from civilization.
Yeah. It's the only place that they can operate with impunity. There's no police out there. And so they saw us helping the police, and they went, cut the head off the snake.
Yeah.
And that, Chico Mendez, Dorothy Stang, the list of people, that environmental defenders that are assassinated in the Amazon every year is huge. There's endless examples of it. It's staggering. I forget the exact numbers, but it's like every year we lose. There'll be local leaders who are trying to stop an oil company or a drug cartel, and they just shoot them, because they know that one person that's able to rally that support, who has that voice, if you just shoot them, usually it'll end the thing, and then they can go back to doing whatever the hell they want. And so right now we're working very closely with the Peruvian government, and people assume that, a Latin American government is automatically corrupt. But what we've found is that these are really good people that want to help their citizens. And the police have been working very hard to stop the narcos, to protect the local indigenous people, because, with the narcos comes human trafficking. With a team of male narcos that are out in the woods making drugs, they want prostitutes. And how do they get prostitutes? They go steal girls from indigenous communities that don't know any better. And then there's reports that the narcos have made contact with the uncontacted tribes. And of course, they're going to shoot machine guns at them. They're not going to have a little shotgun where it's a fair fight. They're going to mow them down. And the uncontacted tribes are going to have no idea. That's why I posted a video of me in the rain saying this is endgame. because there was a new road that was coming off the north of our territory above the ancient forest. They had jumped over because we stopped it at the ancient forest. They've gone above the ancient forest, and now they're trying to cut down to a new area. And so it looks like this. Like that.
Yeah.
So there's the
that's the one.
Trans-Amazon.
Mhm.
Stefan made this map, of course. But you see the area that we're trying to protect loosely, so that we don't give away anything, the area that we are protecting. So the light green is the 130,000 acres. And then this metastasizing network of roads just reaching out and trying to get in. And so they're trying to come in from the north. Where that arrow is, they're trying to come down. And so the police are fighting them along this. And it's a full-on drug war right now. And so stopping that, securing this northern boundary. And so when I mean, again, just the power of what we have. When I posted this, I asked Stefan to show people the road and where it's going to go. We posted this video and said we have to protect this 100,000 acres right now, and all up here is uncontacted tribe territory. And just from that one post, we got $150,000 in like 48 hours, and we bought this concession. We stopped that road, but now they're up here and they're trying to come down. So it's like. And this is the thing, again, you said, it's great. Yes, you get to be an adventurer and you get to live in the jungle, sure. But it's like, there's this Mission Impossible thing where it's like, you might get lucky enough to pull off your psychotic mission, jump your motorcycle off the train and parachute down and stop the bomb before it goes off. Great. How many of those do you get? And we're having to do it every month. And that's the thing. These amazing people that are supporting the Rangers allow us to patrol and protect this, because once we have this land protected, the interesting thing is that the police can go into any of the light green areas. If anybody's there, just arrest them. They're on Jungle Keeper's land. They're out. And eventually that land will become national park if we're successful. The problem with the land that's not is it's a gray area. It's the middle of the Amazon. Are they allowed to be here? Do they really have cocaine? Because they'll plant papaya for acres and a little bit of cocaine behind it. They'll put the sacks. They're sneaky, and so they have to build a case, and it takes time. And then the road comes in, and and in that time, then they'll knock off a police officer. And it's like, if we were just able to get this tomorrow, the whole problem gets solved. We could give the police 2 more boats, and then they could do all the patrolling they need.
So the mission is clear.
The mission is very clear, and the problem is that right now we've been playing defense and sustaining losses, and either we need to inspire enough people that the donor program goes through the roof, and instead of having several thousand donors, we have 50,000 donors, and we'll raise, what is it? We need $20 million to save the rest of the corridor. We'd raise $20 million overnight with enough people, or we need one of these people that has the resources to come in like Batman and just go, I want the park named after me, and I'm just going to come in and give you the 20 million. And then we do it tomorrow. And then we make a documentary about how we saved a river and the tribe and the monkeys but right now we're begging on the side of the road for enough change to buy bullets so that we can stay alive.
So these narcos, there's a kind of distributed network where a bunch of them are pretending to be farmers. So they're holding onto the land, and then maybe they start planting cocaine on the land slowly, and then they build airstrips. Are they trying to stay under the canopy?
Yeah.
With the airstrip?
It's brilliant. First, what they do is they subsidize the poorest people, and they say, go up this river, turn left at the tree, and just start there. And they're like, here's a few grand. And these people are like, I never had a few grand before. They're like, buy gasoline, here's a chainsaw, go clear some land. They send these people up there, and then when they show up a year later and these people have made an illegal farm out in the jungle, they go, hey, we need a safe house. Remember that time we gave you the gasoline and now you live here? You're going to work for us now. And so they're kind of a friend of the people like that. And they have safe houses all over the jungle. And then when the bosses come to collect what they're growing out there, I mean, the police busted a narco operation that was in the middle of the jungle. I mean, hiking to the ancient forest, like just days into the jungle. These people are going on foot with sacks and stuff. And the way they do their airstrips is you think the canopy of the rainforest is 150 feet tall, 160 feet tall. And if you clear the interior of the landing strip, the trees are still meeting overhead. And so you can't fly over and see down, which is the same reason we didn't know about the road that was going to the ancient forest, because overhead the trees are meeting. So you're not going to see it on satellite, and you're not going to see it from a plane. And these pilots, these bush pilots, fly in and they'll just duck in under the canopy, land their plane, load up, and then they fly out. I mean, expert pilots.
So it's impossible to detect.
It's almost impossible to detect. We're working with people now. It's this arms race. They're going, okay. There are drone programs. I talked to someone that has a different type of drone. A 16-foot drone that like uses the thermals to climb up and has solar panels on the wings and flies for 2 weeks at a time. It's like a glider that recharges itself, and it'll keep constant imagery. So we'll get almost up to the moment data on disturbances in the canopy. And it's like, well, that'll be a first-hand alert system. But then we got to get the police out there, which, as you know, a 2-day expedition by boat, and it's the only way. And so the local police force there may be dedicated, but putting people on a multi-day expedition to go get shot at in the jungle is nobody's idea of a good time.
You understand? Have you researched into this whole other world of drug trafficking, cocaine trafficking? How big is the operation here? Looking at Perplexity, multi-thousand ton, multi-billion-dollar global industry.
I mean, globally, it's a monster.
Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and they move north and east through the Americas, the Caribbean, the Atlantic to reach major consumer markets. Yeah, this is a machine fueled by a lot of money and a lot of brutality. Number of cocaine users worldwide is about 25 million people. Users. So there's a market.
Oh, yeah.
And when there's a market, you're going to find the way